People come a little. We'll start. So let's begin the class with prayers as always. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So from last class, we started seeing in detail about the various components that was explained in the verse before that, which was the concise definition for the Atma. So, so the question was asked, what is Atma, isn't it? And for that, Atma kaha. So what was the answer that was given? Stula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karna Shariram is not the Atma. It is beyond the three states of consciousness, which is dream state, deep sleep state, and waking state. So Atma is that which is beyond all these three spheres of experiences available for the human consciousness. And Atma is of the nature of Sat, Chit, Ananda, which is existence, consciousness, and bliss. So existence means just the pure isness. Even when we say nothing is there, that isness is what existence is. Existence without any cause, that existence. Similarly, bliss means bliss without any reason. By nature itself, it is that of bliss. So all this we saw in the previous class, and now we are seeing in detail about the various terms that was introduced in this one verse. So what was the first thing that was introduced? Stula Shariram. We saw what was Stula Shariram in the previous class. So what was the main point that we discussed about the Stula Shariram? It is made by the grossification of the 5 great elements. Grossification means available for the perception of the senses, right? So this gross body is made from the 5 elements, and it is always a part of the 5 elements. We only put this boundary and say, this is my body. No, it's not like that. It is always a part of the 5 great elements. So that we saw. And then we saw it undergoes 6 stages of modification, right? It comes into existence, it is then born, and then it grows, and then it comes to mature, and then slowly it becomes to decline or decay, and finally this gross body dies. And then we also saw that it is the counter for all experiences, right? The body itself, the gross body itself, is only a counter of experiences. The experience, the stimuli comes through it, and the response also comes out of it. So it is like a counter. All transactions happen through this body. But the body by itself is not capable of perceiving any of the stimuli, all right? Be it heat, cold, or any joys or nothing the body is able to perceive. It is all happening at the subtle body level. So today we are going to see about the subtle body, all right? Good. So first let us see the verse that we are going to discuss today. Stula Shariram Kim Panchikrita Panchamahabhutai Krita Panchamahabhutai Kritam Satkarma Janyam Sukha Dukkadi Bhoga Sadhanam Pancha Jnanendriyani Pancha Karmendriyani Pancha Pranadaya Manascha Ekam Buddhischa Eka Evam Sapta Dasha Kalabihi Sa yat tishtati tat sukshma shariram. First two verses will be very similar to what we saw for Stula Shariram. Same thing. Panchikrita Panchamahabhutai. So in the gross body, it is said Panchikrita. We will see what is this Panchikaranam in the coming verses. But for now, let us just understand Panchikritam as the process of grossification of the 5 great elements. So we saw that the gross body comes from the process of grossification of 5 great elements, whereas the subtle body is still from the 5 great elements only, but when it is not undergone the process of grossification, that is, the 5 elements continue to remain in their subtle state beyond the perception of human sense organs. All right, so that is what it is. Satkarma Janyam, just like how we say this gross body is because of the result of punya karmas of so many previous births. Similarly, this subtle body is also a result of the punya karma. All right. And then see this is Satkarma Janyam. Sukha Dukkati Bhoga Sadhanam. When it comes to subtle body, it is the instrument which is through which we experience all the joy, sorrow, all the two-sided things, right? Pain, pleasure, heat, cold, everything is experienced by the subtle body. Whereas when we saw about the gross body, it is said Sukha Dukkati Bhoga Ayatanam. It is a counter. Here it is the instrument itself which is going to experience it. And then the subtle body comprises of 17 components. What are the 17 components? 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, so 5 plus 5, 10, and then 5 pranas, 15, mind and intellect. So total 17, it has 17 components. So this 17 components together form the subtle body. So this is what this verse is talking about. So let's see about this in a little bit more detail, all right?
Can you repeat that 17?
Yeah, 17 is 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, 5 pranas. We will see what are the 5 sense organs, what are the 5 organs of action, what are the 5 pranas. All this will come in the next verse. As of now, just know this 5 pranas. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15, mind and intellect. So 15 plus 2, 17. So these 17 components together form the subtle body. So this is what is the explanation here. Why it is given in so much detail is because so that we try not to identify ourselves too much with this aspect of our being also, so that we don't get limited by these 17 components. That's why Adi Shankaracharya is explaining all this in great detail. Okay, so let's see one by one. What is the first thing? It is made of 5 great elements. Even the subtle body is from the Pancha Mahabhutam. Okay, everything around us exists in a subtle state and also in a gross state. So subtle state is that which is beyond our sensory perception. It is always, everything is, it has these 2 components to it. Like that, similarly, our gross body also has a subtle state. Okay, and what it is made of? It is made by the subtle components of the 5 great elements. We will see about this in detail in the coming verses. As of now, keep this in mind. Okay, put an into mark for future reference. Keep that aside. All right. Good. Next, it is said that it is because of the Satkarma Janyam. So just like how this physical body we get because of good karma, similarly, the subtle body also we have got because of the good karmas that we have done in the past. So this doesn't mean that we feel superior to other beings around us. No, that is not what is meant through this conveyance. It is simply that only in the human body we have the choice to make further karmas. We have the choice to create more karmas only in the human body. Whereas whether we evolve or devolve, suppose we do so much punya that we become heavenly body, right? Like those devas and so on. Or we devolve so much that we get born as, some worm or insect or whatever. in whether we go higher or whether we go lower, we only have the option of exhausting our karmas. Whatever karmas we have accumulated, we can only exhaust that. It is called bogajanyam. All right, it is only an exhaustion of the past karmas. But only in this human body, we have the choice, we have that free will to make new karmas. All right. So that is why it is said it is a blessing to have this human birth. Okay. And we have done something well in our previous life that we are here as humans. We are having this experience of reflecting more about our own self. All right. Good. So then it is said it is the Sukha Dukkati Bhoga Sadhanam. So this is the instrument through which all experiences are experienced by us. So here, just think for a moment. So we have ears and we say we hear through ear. Okay. So does it mean that everybody who has this physical component is able to hear? Not necessary, right? Even deaf people have ears. But that faculty to hear is something very subtle, isn't it? Similarly, blind people also have eyes. But are they able to see? The faculty of sight is something beyond just this physical instrument. All right. It's in this way, all these senses. A dead body, even if you go, apply sandalwood paste on that dead body, is it going to feel it? Is it going to like, wow, what a great smell? Is it going to feel that way? No, right? The ability to perceive all these experiences is there only in the subtle body. Similarly, the reaction to all this external stimuli. Okay. If you go keep a dead body's hand in fire, we put the dead body in the fire, right? Is it like, it's so hot, is it jumping out of the fire and running away? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter whether it is burning or not burning. Whereas when we are alive, even the slightest, even if our coffee is a little too hot, then we're like, so hot, I have burnt myself. We respond to that stimuli, no? That also happens from the subtle body. So the subtle body gives the direction and the gross body responds to it. Pretty much like software and hardware component, all right? So it is the subtle body that is driving the gross body. Another thing that we have to remember is, and this is available for everybody's perception also, okay? When we talk about all this gross body, subtle body, the subtle body is much larger than our gross body. We think we are only this limited space, right? The subtle body is much larger than that. That's why even if something is happening somewhere, we are able to hear. We are able to see something so far away. We are able to smell things even before we come to the place where that smell is happening from, isn't it? So our subtle body is very large, much larger than the gross body. And it is that subtle body which is driving this gross body. All right. And what is the thing that is connecting the gross body and subtle body? It's the breath. Breath connects gross body and subtle body. All right. And that's why we all would have felt, oh, that person is giving me bad vibes. That person is giving me good vibes. We all feel it, no? Even before we come into contact or even if we talk to somebody, we just sense it, right? We all have that ability to sense, oh, that person, no, I think I should keep my distance. Or we're like, oh, what a divine person. We should get their blessings. We feel that when we are near our gurus, when we are near great masters, we feel that sense of calm and everything, right? So the subtle body is much bigger than the gross body, and that is what is driving this gross body. All right. But still remember, we are not the subtle body also. We are something beyond that. Okay. So always keep that in mind. All right. Good. So this is about the 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action. Sense organs perceive the world. Organs of action respond to whatever the sense organs has perceived. Correct? We will see what are the 5 sense organs. What are the 5 organs of action? The next verse, I don't think I'll be able to finish that today. We will see it in the next class. Then what is saying? It has the buddhi and the manas. These are 2 separate entities. All right. Let's see a little bit in detail about it. So manas, it's all the component of subtle body only, but it is simply based upon the it's classified based upon the function that it does. That's how we are saying manas and buddhi. These two are, we are classifying based on the function that it does. What does the mind do? Mind is basically nothing but a bundle of thoughts, this constant stream of thoughts that is going on inside us, right? That is the mind component of us. And what is the buddhi component? Of all the thoughts that's going on constantly, there are some places where we say, yes, we have to do this. No, we should not do this. I have to go there. I have to eat now. The determining thought comes, no, which drives our action. That is intellect. So the mind is a flow of thoughts. Intellect is the decision-making part of the subtle body component. All right. So this is how we classify mind and intellect. Another thing that we say is mind is the seat of emotions. All our emotions comes under the classification of mind. All right. And all logical reasoning, how we are able to arrive, right? Oh, A plus B is equal to C. So they did this and they also did that, which means this is what the reason behind it. All this we are able to deduce, no? That component is the intellect. All right. So this is the differentiation, very subtle, but this is how we differentiate between the mind and the intellect. Here, there is one very important thing that Guruji says that is very, very applicable to all of us. All right. And something that we can keep reflecting, keep remembering, and keep working upon. Very simple. He says the only thing that we should pray for to God, of all the things he keeps saying this also, and the only thing that we need to lead a very happy life is just a healthy body, peaceful mind, purity of mind, clarity of thought. 3 things: healthy body, purity of mind, clarity of thought. If these 3 are there, then our life is set. That's what he keeps saying. And how true it is, isn't it? When the physical body, the gross body, is free of diseases, automatically our quality of life is very good, right? And similarly, purity of thoughts. Our life mostly depends upon the kind of thoughts that go on in the mind, isn't it? When we are thinking happy thoughts, we are happy. When we are worrying too much, we are not very happy. When we are anxious, when we are angry, when we think needless thoughts about other people, when we think needless thoughts about our own self also, then automatically we are not happy, isn't it? That's why purity of mind is very important. Purity of mind implies purity of the stream of thoughts that's going on in our head. Does it mean that we should only be thinking good things, or does it mean that we should only be thinking about God? Yes, if we can, that is the most ideal thing. If we can constantly keep remembering our Creator with love and devotion, that is the best state for the mind to be in. But as everyday humans, right, who are still caught up in the samsara, we can have purity of mind when we let go of thinking of things that are not necessary to us. When we stop thinking too much about others, when we stop thinking too much about things that are not in our control, and when we stop thinking about things that is causing further and further agitation in our mind, especially like, comparison. Oh, that guy is earning this much, I am not earning this much. They are doing so much, I am not. When we stop all this, automatically the mind becomes more and more peaceful. That's why in Vedanta especially, keep on repeating that be aware, be alert, be aware, be alert. Keep watching your mind, because that is what is going to determine the quality of life. All right. So this is about the mind. And the third thing that Guruji says, clarity of thoughts. Indecisiveness, no, that is a big killer of joy. Nothing gets done. And because nothing gets done, further agitation happens in the mind. Be very clear, be very decisive. Don't keep wavering. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Gather all the facts, analyze the pros and cons, then decide and stick with your decision. That clarity of thought is very, very important. And if we have these 3 things, then our life is set. Very easy, but very difficult also, right? We have to do a lot of work to ensure that our body is healthy, by exercising it, by eating the right thing, by not staying awake too much on the night, sleeping properly. And we have to ensure that the mind is pure by constantly being aware of our thoughts, being in satsanga, being in the company of good people, feeding the mind with the right input. Nowadays, we have access to too much information, right? So we have to be conscious about what we are feeding the mind, right? So that ensures purity of thought, purity of mind. Clarity of thought is when we are able to take proper decisions, when we are not having a wavering intellect. So this kind of covers both gross and subtle body together. All right. So this is what we see about the subtle body. Any doubt about the subtle body? Are you all convinced that we have these two components as our as an entity? Isn't it? We are not just this body. That much clarity is there, no? Conviction is there, no? We also have a subtle aspect to us, which is much more bigger than this physical body, which is the one that is driving this physical body, and because of which we are able to perceive the world and also react to the world. Yes, thank you, Preeti. Yes, Srinivasagam sir. Any doubts?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So this is with respect to Bhogajanyam, like with respect,
Mm,
you were speaking about karma, right? It's
mm,
because of our past karma or
mm,
present karma, like what birth we take, it is determined. And whatever karma we are doing, it needs to be like kind of debited from us.
mm,
So, but if you see, like except human beings, all other creatures in the world, they are
mm,
not against the nature,
mm,
because human beings have been given this process of thinking. They thought too much, and they have so much advanced over a century, and whatever is law of nature, we are going against the law of nature.
mm.
And whatever good deeds we tend to do, but people, a lot of negativity is coming into the people's mind, and it's more into negative. Like if you see, like if you take the ratio of good karma and bad karma is in higher state, and good karma is getting lower and lower. So how does, like even a grasshopper, it can take a birth of human being, right? It's not that once it dies, it needs to. So how is that thing being created, or how does it, how does that karma play a factor in the birth of a grasshopper and as well as in a human being?
It's a very valid doubt, and we all karma is something that it brings out more questions. The more we think about it, it brings out more questions. So we will have a separate chapter of karma, the three type of karma. Everything will be coming later in the book. But as of now, karma comes only when we have a sense of doership. Only when we think I am doing this, then karma comes into being. When we drop that doership, then it is just happening through us. Then there is no karma. So karma is more like, okay, that's a very big topic, but to tell it in a very brief manner, right? Everything that we do leaves an impression in us, isn't it? Good or bad, whatever. Good, bad is again a judgment that the human mind passes based on our own inherent beliefs, moral codes. All these are shaped by from our birth. All right, and that's how we classify good karma, bad karma, all this. We say killing a person is a bad karma, feeding a person is a good karma, all this we see that. But karma per se doesn't distinguish between good or bad. Whatever action you do, it leaves an impression in your mind. And the more you feed that impression, the more we start doing it over and over again. It's just a question of repetition, that's all. Okay, like how, if you have noticed, the gramophone has grooves in it, right? And when we put the needle into the groove, automatically the song plays, isn't it? Similarly, when we keep doing certain actions repeatedly, when we have certain thoughts repeatedly, they create patterns in our subtle body, and these patterns exercise control over how we live our life. We will see all that in the coming verses, okay? When as humans, we have the choice to break free of this pattern. That is why it is said it is a Satkarma Janya, which is why human birth is very precious. Whereas animals, they just follow the pattern and live their life. Animals have no sense of doership. They just follow the pattern. They live as per instinct. And humans, our instinct is driven by the patterns that are already there. It is not just about what you have done today, yesterday, 2 years back, 3 years back. It is about what we have done in all the janmas, all through. God knows how many times we've been born, in what all forms we've been born. We can't remember, we can't even imagine. And all those impressions are carried to us till this very date. And it is the choice that we have, whether we have to act according to that or whether we can break free out of it and, step back and see how it goes. So this is what karma is, and we'll be seeing this a lot more in detail in a very systematic manner. But as of now, just remember that instinct-driven life, okay, is going to further and further deepen the pattern. When we are living in, without using the faculty of our intellect. But when we start thinking and asking, why am I doing this? Why do I feel like I have to do this? My instinct will be, for example, when my 2-year-old comes and interrupts me in the middle of something very important that I'm doing, my instinct will be to shout at her. But when I just take a pause and say, okay, what, she's interrupting, it's okay. It's what a child will do. Let her be. So you pacify her, step away, and then continue your work. The choice is there, no, for us. And whatever choice we make, that kind of thought pattern again gets formed in our subtle body. All right. So that is why it is said in the human body alone, we have the choice to evolve or devolve or completely break free. Oh, I am tired of this. Yeah, I don't want this doership, enjoyership. Because karma is ultimately that you do something, you enjoy something. You enjoy something, you further deepen the pattern, then again you do the same thing. It's a mixed. It's a vicious cycle, right? So you have the choice to step away from that cycle only in the human birth. In all other births, whatever patterns are already existing, you have to exhaust that. That is what happens in other births. So that is why it is said human birth is very, very precious. All right, and it's all this information is there in our subtle body. All that we say, no, that's why we have so much of importance to our ancestors. God knows we get born with the same set of people over and over again. So I might have been my great-great-grandmother who has come and born here. You never know. Because we get so much attachment to the fellow human beings around us. The same set of people keep being born together again and again. So, and I have all those memories also within me, my subtle body, and so many of my instinctive behavior, like Aruna thinks in this way, Aruna behaves in this way. All this are already encoded in my subtle body. Right? So, and we have to step away from it. That's why so much detail is being given about the gross body, subtle body, stating this is not our true nature. Let go of this, step away from this. That is what Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya is trying to say here. Okay. So, but we will see about karmas in detail. Did I confuse you guys more? No. All right. So thank you so much for the question. And we will finish the class with our closing prayers. Don't worry, Mr. Srinivasagam sir. All the karmas, everything is explained very much in detail, and that will give a lot more light about, it will answer a lot of questions that we all have. All right.
Sure. Looking forward for that.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Amma.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, yes. Yes, Radhika ji, please.
Yeah, nothing. I just wanted to wish you.
Oh.
Yeah.